Peggy 16.
Greetings, Executor, and welcome to the World Map. In this section, I will teach you what everything does in order to catch you up to speed and become better prepared in the ongoing war against the Stroll virus. To start things simple, if you look at the top bar, you will notice a variety of numbers and different words. The numbers in the top left area represent your resources in their respective fields, and the words are different sections of your land ship. These are the most basic supplies you can acquire and help in all manners of researching projects, upgrading your land ship, building items, and establishing outposts. These are needed for combat missions. Each combat mission has different costs, but if you don't meet the requirements, you will be unable to launch a ground assault. The next icon that looks like a person keeps track of your specialized personnel. They help with land ship upgrades, creating items, researching projects, and can become soldiers. This one keeps track of your intelligence network across the Martian surface. The more intel you have, the more informed you will become, from threats that will be encountered on the ground to getting bonuses for research and engineering projects. Each one of these resources can be acquired through scan missions or a weekly resupply. Before we go further into the different types of missions, Executor, I will move on to the different parts of your land ship from left to right on the top bar. The first tab is the Armory tab. In this section, you also have some subsections. In general, you will see your personal loadout and your soldier's readiness status. Firstly, the loadout is where you can customize your suit. In time, you will be able to research new suits that help in different aspects of combat. Not only can you change your combat suit, but you can swap out components, specialized skills, and upgrades, each tailoring to a combat class. When it comes to weapons, any suit class can take any weapon, but at a cost in most cases. You won't be alone in this fight, Executor. Your Cell Marines have pledged their undying loyalty. The more missions your soldiers come back from, the more experience they will acquire and become battle-hardened veterans. However, the human body can only take so much punishment before they succumb to their injuries if they are not properly treated. Just to go over all possible subsections in the Armory, when you do have the mission setup subsection available, this is where various support items can help influence the battlefield you will be deploying to. In some cases, you will need to either manufacture logistical items or research certain projects to obtain full ground support. If enough intel has been gathered, you will also be able to see a breakdown of the enemy's forces and where I have calculated mass fluctuates within their ranks. The next section is the World Map. This is your main view when it comes to the war against Stroll. The best way to ease you in will be by explaining the different types of missions. Scan missions are missions that cost no physical resources, but will advance time. These types of missions will also give you resources only. Combat missions come in all shapes and sizes, from defending colony walls to assaulting heavily infested terraformers. Each combat mission will give you a resource or reduce infestation. In some cases, they will be a mixture of both. However, if you fail certain missions, you will have to face the consequences. To make matters worse, you will be unable to do every mission that appears, as they are time-dependent on the world map, so pick your battles accordingly. The next area will be regions. Each region has a main colony, and missions will appear in the current region your land ship is parked at. In some cases, this will not always be the case when it comes to story missions. However, each region can be scanned, which will help you better prepare on ground combat operations by knowing what you will be facing on the field and when. Some regions will also give you bonuses so long as you keep them from becoming infested. Currently, Mars is facing the Stroll virus, which will infest all colonies slowly. When time moves on, the Stroll virus will spread. Unfortunately, there is no way to contain the virus, and in time, the planet can be lost if effective countermeasures are not taken. If the planet becomes fully infested, humanity will become extinct. Executor, there is a way to mitigate some of the dangers that Mars is facing. This can be done by building outposts. These are bases we can build on each region that will help strengthen the region overall, while also providing you with additional supplies depending on the outpost's level. However, in order to build them, you will need to move the dropship to the respective colony and use supplies in order to start the outpost's construction. The final way to combat the Stroll virus is with the use of the solar cannon. However, this will have grave consequences as you will be wiping the colony off of the Martian surface along with all of its remaining citizens. The solar, though, will decrease the overall planetary infestation level. I will now be switching over to the facilities section of your landship. Research is where humanity's top scientists will ultimately figure out new ways for you to combat the Stroll virus and red solstice storms. The projects will range from assisting ground operations, improving certain sections of your landship, to the overall well-being of humanity. Each project, though, will consume resources, specialists, and time. The engineering section is where you can manufacture logistical items that help support your combat drops. This includes ammunition, medical supplies, explosives, and buildable objects. Just like research, however, supplies, specialists, and time will be needed to complete the construction of these projects. In the upgrades section of your landship, you will be able to improve research reduction costs, more logistical items on combat missions, better intel gathering, and various support on combat missions. Each of these will help better prepare you when facing off against the Stroll virus. Also in the upgrades section, you will be able to see a list of all the regions you have contacted and their current status. You can also keep track of the progress of your projects in the lower right-hand side of the screen on the World Map section. This now completes my objective of explaining the strategy layer. Have a nice day.